I'm not sure whether the story of what happened at the Apple Store in Hingham, Massachusetts, outside of Boston, is an Apple story or a story for macOS Ken, except that it happened at an Apple Store. I do know it doesn't belong with the music and the business and the usual snark, so we'll do this, and then we'll do that. At the Hingham location, the Mac Observer says one person was killed, an unknown number of people were injured, and 16 were taken to the hospital. A later report from area TV station WCVB upped that number treated at the hospital to 19. TMO says the incident began at 10:45 Eastern Monday morning when a witness said a black Toyota 4Runner drove full speed into the Apple Store. It crashed through the glass storefront of the Derby Street Center location. It traveled all the way to the back wall of the store, trapping at least 4 people and injuring dozens more. The deceased individual was working for Apple, though not a retail employee. WCVB identifies him as a 65-year-old from New Jersey. In a statement on the incident, the TV station had Apple saying, "We are devastated by the shocking events at Apple Derby Street today and the tragic loss of a professional who was on site supporting recent construction at the store. Our hearts go out to our team members and customers who were injured and all of those who were affected by this terrible incident." As of this writing, next to nothing is known about the driver, just that he appeared to be injured but alert after the incident. He did not go to the hospital but was in police custody, according to WCVB. That report describes the situation as a criminal investigation.
This is macOS Ken.
We're paying more for iPhones. It looks like the TSMC Arizona chip plant is the real deal, and an Apple TV Plus gig may be Gary Oldman's last. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of November, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. Seeking Alpha ran a piece Monday arguing that Apple is unlikely to outperform the market going forward. The site listed a few reasons, including not having a truly new anything for the past several cycles and having increased margins about as much as they're able to do. When looking at true newness, the piece spent a decent amount of time focused on the possibility of a car from Apple, and it looks like no time on Apple's anticipated mixed reality headset. Weird. It's an interesting piece full of figures and charts. SeekingAlpha.com if you want to take a peek. Now, what's funny to me is while there is worry about economic uncertainty and slowing sales, the people buying what Apple's selling keep spending more on it. I told you last week of a report from Consumer Intelligence Research Partners, or CIRP, that said for the new iPhone 14 models and the more expensive iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Max, a majority of customers paid a premium for larger storage capacity phones. Now, that same firm says the U.S. weighted average retail price for iPhone is up a lot in the past 2 years, with a steep rise in the past year. Apple 3.0 ran part of CIRP's latest report. By that firm's reckoning, the U.S. weighted average retail price for iPhone rose about $71 from September of 2020 to the following September, moving from $794 to $865. Between then and last September, the average rose another $92 from the aforementioned $865 to $957. While some of that may be tied to higher capacity purchases, September would have included the earliest iPhone 14 sales. Seems likely that love for the Pro end of the 14 line helped to boost that average. Bloomberg ran an opinion piece last week that sort of took the air out of the tires of TSMC's plans for Arizona. In mid-2020, TSMC announced its intention to build and operate an advanced semiconductor fab in the Grand Canyon state. When making the announcement, the chipmaker said the facility would utilize TSMC's 5-nanometer technology, though last week's Bloomberg piece sort of shrugged that off, saying that 5-nanometer is cool right now, but in 2024, 3-nanometer processors will be the latest and greatest. That would make the stuff coming out of Arizona kind of outdated. Turns out maybe not. A piece from TechCrunch has TSMC founder Morris Chang saying 3-nanometer tech is in the cards for the desert Southwest, though there are a couple of things to note. First, Mr. Chang has retired from TSMC, though a Reuters piece on his Arizona talk says he remains influential in the company and the broader chip industry. Second, while 3 nanometers may be in the cards haven't been dealt yet. According to Mr. Chang, 3-nanometer TSMC right now has a plan, but it has not been completely finalized. It has almost been finalized in the same Arizona site, Phase 2. 5-nanometer is Phase 1, 3-nanometer is Phase 2, says Mr. Chang. I can't remember, is Phase 2 the one with Thanos? Wait, Phase 2 was Ultron, right? Who can keep up? iCloud for Windows users seem to be having a bit of trouble. MacRumors says it's seeing a number of complaints on the MacRumors forums of corrupted videos and images from strangers appearing in photo libraries. Yikes. One MacRumors reader explains, saying iCloud for Windows is corrupting videos recorded from an iPhone 14 Pro Max, resulting in black videos with scan lines. On rare occasions, it is inserting stills into videos from unknown sources, possibly others' iCloud accounts. I've been shown photos of other people's families I've never seen in my life, soccer games, and other random photos. Obviously, this is extremely concerning and does not exactly make me feel safe using iCloud. Well, you're using iCloud for No mention of Apple addressing or acknowledging the issue in the MacRumors report. Apple 3.0's Philip Elmer DeWitt stirred the ashes of a fire on Monday that probably didn't need to be stirred. After running a blurb about Bob Iger returning as Disney CEO, Elmer DeWitt added the comment, "It was to Iger's Disney that Steve Jobs sold Pixar, and it was Iger who suggested that if Jobs had lived, Apple and Disney might have merged. I wonder, is Iger still interested in making that happen?" A little over a week ago on the Mac Observer's Daily Observations podcast, we talked about a rumor that there were people inside Disney who wanted Apple to make a play for the house the mouse built. The thing is, those people were said to be frustrated by Disney's leadership, which has since changed. Still, listener Tony wrote to me wondering whether Iger was being brought back to facilitate a merger between Disney and Apple. Personally, I have a hard time seeing it. But you can hear our thinking on a couple of episodes of the Daily Observations, one from the 11th of November and one from today. I don't think I hate the idea, but I don't like it that much. Anyway, the idea is still floating out there. If the retro tech in the Apple TV Plus series Severance is your jam, maybe you would like a retro way to jam to the soundtrack. Apple Insider says Mondo is releasing a collectible vinyl soundtrack for the show. Actually, it's 2 collectibles. The Audi edition is pressed in white vinyl inside a spot-varnished gatefold sleeve with a printed inner sleeve. It'll run buyers $35. The INI edition is traditional black vinyl, though it comes in a custom concertina office folder. Additionally, the piece says the INI edition features a music dance experience card, a record safety card, an Egan bingo sheet, which is a family name from the show, 4 character cards, a hidden map of the severed floor, and a Lumen disco bag. The Any edition will run buyers $60. It will be limited to 5,000 units. I started to say that is the one you want, but if you're a collector, you probably want both. I know that that's the one that I would want, but then I'd have to buy a record player too, so I'm good. I'm sure you're good too, but if you'd be better with one or both, the albums go on sale tomorrow, Wednesday, the 23rd of November at noon Central. More information is available on the Mondo site. And finally today, Gary Oldman's turn in the Apple TV Plus series Slow Horses may be his last. The Mac Observer highlights comments the actor made to the Times of London, wherein he indicated that he's about done. The article quotes the actor as saying, "I've had an enviable career, but careers wane, and I do have other things that interest me outside of acting. When you're young, you think you're going to get around to doing all of them. Read that book. Then the years go by. I'm 65 next year. 70 is around the corner. I don't want to be active when I'm 80. I'd be very happy and honored and privileged to go out as Jackson Lamb, his character in Slow Horses, and then hang it up." So when might he hang it up? Yeah, that's tough to say. He's in for at least 2 more seasons of the Apple TV Plus series. The Cupertino streamer announced an order for seasons 2 and 3 earlier this year. Season 2 is practically upon us, though, set to premiere on the 2nd of December. No word on when Season 3 will debut, plus, if Apple picks up additional seasons, who can say? Today on the Mac Observer's Daily Observations podcast, new news and some leftovers. TMO Managing Editor Jeff Butts joins me today for a short discussion on the tragedy in Hingham, whether Apple can keep outperforming the markets, processors coming out of the Arizona desert, and Bob Iger's return as CEO of Disney. Early leftovers on the Daily Observations podcast from the Mac Observer, online at macobserver.com or wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.